Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more opinions and thoughts with The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2. Episode 1, I've already gave my opinion thoughts on it. The video is on my channel if you want to check that out. Today, we're going to focus more on episode 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to try to explain all three of these episodes as well as I can. I might leave a lot out for the people that haven't seen the episodes. I'll try not to explain too much in case you haven't seen it. But we're going to talk about it, give our opinions and thoughts and some theories that are going on with the show. We know that Maggie has volunteered for the New Babylon army, because they want to go to New York. They want the methane that the Croat is creating. They want to find it because their settlement or whatever is declining. Basically the food and everything. They're starving. That's what it is. They want power. They want the methane. They want to gain power. They want to create the old world again. And that's kind of what's going on in New York with the leader named Dama. And she's got the methane. She's got Croat, her right hand man, that knows how to make the methane. And the methane is also used for energy. It can bring New York City back to life. That's the best way I can explain it. It's almost like electricity. And the way you get the methane is from walkers, the zombies. From what I understand, the more they decay, you can get you can make methane out of them. So kill the walkers and make what's going to light up New York. And that's basically what it does at the end of episode 1 when Negan does his big speech in the cathedral with all the other gang leaders, is what I'm going to call them, from the different boroughs. There's a different leader. But Dama's trying to build this big army. She's trying to get everybody in with an alliance in with her because New Babylon's coming. They're an army. And she wants everybody on board. So when they go to war, they'll outnumber them, put them down, so nobody could take over New York. It's almost like, how can I put it? It's a power thing. You know, it's it's what it is. It's power. With her having the methane, you'll bow down to her because she's got something you want, something that you need. But like I said, we're going to discuss it. And the only part of the series so far, from what I've seen, this is what I've seen, and this is what I'm not liking, because we have two similarities in this series that are kind of the same. One is possibly true. The other one, I think, is bogus. It is just being used for control. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the character Pearly, that worked for New Babylon. He was like the bounty hunter or whatever. He was looking for Negan, which of course he found him in season 1. But he has also lied to New Babylon, saying that he has killed Negan, which he didn't. He let him go because, they grown close when they went to New York the first time. Negan actually saved his life in season 1, and then Pearly returned the favor later on. So, and he basically said, "You just get out of here. Basically, I'll tell him I killed you or whatever." But, lies only go so far. Sooner or later, the truth will come out. And that's what we do learn down the road, that the truth, you will be exposed. And there's something going on with Maggie's son, Herschel. there's a connection here. And I kind of understand, and I'm going to touch on that for a moment. I do understand what the connection is. It's basically Dama gave Herschel more attention than kind of Maggie did, because Maggie would state that she would leave him, and go do her thing, whether it be, scavenging or whatever the problem would be, that he wouldn't be with her all the time. So Dama's actually giving him more attention than his own mother, because Maggie's hell bent on Negan. That's just been on her mind ever since the lineup in season 6 of The Walking Dead. That she's just been hell bent on revenge for him. She disagreed with Rick uh, when he slit his throat. Well, she probably agreed with that. That she probably got happy over that. But when he said to save him, that really triggered, anger. It's basically, then why did you do that? And they was kind of going at it there for a little bit. If you've seen The Walking Dead, you know what I'm saying. She wanted revenge and justice for Glenn. Negan killed him, and then she's just been hell bent on that. But she understands, by going back. Basically, she's going back because she understands what she did with the deal. She had to trade Negan for Herschel. It was a trade, and I think she feels bad about that. But she also finds out that Dama has put this scenario in Negan's head that he has got his new wife and his uh new son or whatever. To be honest with you, I'm just going to be straightforward. I think Dama's full of crap. I don't think she has Negan's family, not one time. But she keeps pushing it. I guess just to have control over him, just to keep him on board, make sure he fulfills his part of the deal. That's what I think. I don't think she even knows where they're at. I don't think she's even touched base around them. Now, as far as New Babylon has got a similar case with Pearlie. They have let him know that they got his family, which he actually has a family, and I believe in that scenario that they do have his family somewhere under observation and making sure he fulfills his part. I do believe there's something going on with that, but to try to control him too, and that's what I don't like about the season. You've got these stories, but you're using the same concept for two stories. I could understand it with the Negan thing to make him fall in line, but to do it with Pearlie also, it's like identical. I don't know, man. One character would be good. Let's not do it with both. We'll do something more original with this guy. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Maggie joins the army. She goes to New York. She's learning about the methane. They've got to cut through uh, Central Park, which is considered to be the most dangerous area uh, as far as containing walkers and stuff like that. It's just not safe to walk through. And they also learn that there's another group there that pretty much takes Maggie and New Babylon in. But New Babylon is so greedy, and they're so just struck on power, and is in the same way with all the gang members in the boroughs. Uh, Negan has got to get them all to join forces, with Dama to become one army, and it works okay with the gang leader named Bruegel. But at the end of the day, you're going to learn that in this season and the way things are going, that everybody is out for self. They'll kiss ass to get what they want, but they will when they gain power, and gain what they want, then they'll flip the switch, and that's pretty much what it is. It's survival of the fittest. Who's going to control the methane? But the way I see it is, if you don't have the Croat, which has the knowledge to keep creating the methane, then what good are you? Say if the Croat, just speculation, say if he dies in this series, then how are you going to continue to make the methane unless you know the formula and you know how to do it? You're going to need that knowledge, so having him on your team is going to help you to keep producing. Dismiss him or have something happen to him, then that's going to create a problem, because supply is going to run low. And if you don't have anybody that knows how to make that, then you're back to square one. You're screwed again. I mean, the season's not over with. We are up to I think episode 6. I have just watched episode 5. I can't speak on it right now, but I will when the season is finished. I will come back and talk about the rest of the episodes instead of doing it just single episode one by one. I'll just go ahead and give a rundown of what's left. But right now we're working on 2, 3, and 4. Maggie they're on a boat. They're headed to New York. The Croat, Negan, all of them know they're coming. Negan's got binoculars. He's looking. He sees Herschel on the boat, and he kind of hesitates to fire. To fire to blow the boat up, because he knows. Because Negan has always been that character. He don't hurt kids and he don't hurt women. I mean, if you notice that from the original Walking Dead, he doesn't condone in that. He's trying not to hurt Herschel. But you got to look at it, he's also tried to redeem himself too, but they're pushing him to be what he has tried to forget. He don't want to be the old him no more. But the way I see it, sometimes in his situation, I can understand. I would have to resort back to my old self, whether I liked it or not, just to try to survive. Some would call it, you got to bow down to an extent, but always be trying to maneuver your way out of it. And the Croat knows what's going on, and stuff like that. But Negan also sees how the Croat is being treated by Dama. Dama is treating pretty much Negan and the Croat like some punks, like she's King Kong. You're going to bow, like she's the queen. You listen to what I say, or this is what's going to happen. And Negan has also been a leader in his time, and he knows what power is too. So he understands, she's treating the Croat like a punk, Who knows what's going to happen? But Maggie and Herschel and all of them do make it there. Like I said, they end up running into another group that takes them in. But that's when New Babylon starts to show their true colors, because they got this officer in there that's just hell bent on nothing but methane, and exposing things. But let's not forget about little Jenny that was with Negan in season 1. Since he confessed to her that he killed her father, but we never really got to understand why he did it. Maybe that will come out before this season's over with. And so she's hell bent on killing Negan. She's got a gun in her backpack. She's looking for him, searching around. Just can't wait to run into him to put a bullet in him. Herschel, on the other end, has ran into Negan while in Central Park. Negan has had eye contact with Herschel and slight few words. So it's crazy how this season is going. I know I'm not really getting into it that much, but I pretty much touch basis on what is going on so far. Right now, it's on the hunt for the methane, and Maggie does find out where the methane is located. She finds out where Negan is located to get in touch with him, which is at the cathedral. She finds out that the methane is at the cathedral. Um, so she makes her way over there to get a, you know, off the, back in the cut word with Negan without anybody knowing it, which he does hear the famous whistle from the whispers. That's how Maggie gets gets his attention, and he kind of makes up a little white lie to Dama to slip back there and you know have a few words. But Negan also knows that if he gives up the location on things, it's good. It's going to cause a problem because they've got the gang leader named Bruegel. He's ready to join, but like I said, everybody's out for self. You know, and we'll see that we'll get more understanding with that later as the season progresses, and the more I explain the newer episodes, it'll probably start to shine some light on some of it. But hey, 2, 3, and 4 is pretty simple. It's making your way to New York. It's trying to get everybody on board. Join a bunch of forces together to take out New Babylon. Find out who's got the methane, because I forgot to say that Maggie's new Hilltop, or whatever they call it the bricks in this series, but I call it Hilltop 2.0. They are also starving. Crops are dying. Somebody brought up this thing. And I kind and I touched on it, I think, in the last video. I understand Maggie wants to be her own leader. She wants to stand on her own with her own community. But when you know that you've got friends that would do anything for you, like Daryl, Carol, Rick, which she probably still thinks Rick's dead, but he's not. But she don't know that. Negan don't know it either. But when you know you can go ask for help from the Commonwealth, and you've got all those people that would do anything in the world for you and your community, why doesn't she reach out for help? Maybe, like I said, maybe she's trying to stand on her own. I can't say it's more of a, I guess it's distance herself to see if she can actually do it on her own, become her own leader. I don't know. I mean, I've heard that theory brought up quite a few times from a bunch of creators, and it does kind of makes me think, why would you reach out? I don't know. Is there bad blood there, or something? I don't know. I don't think there is. I just think she wants to stand on her own, because she's been through so much with the first group, and a lot has happened, as far as, like, say, Glenn and all that stuff. A lot of memories will be, sparked up. I get it. Sometimes change is for the better. Relocation is for the better. And I dig that. But yeah, I mean, we've got Negan pretty much. I mean, yeah, he's trying to redeem himself, but he's also got to kiss ass, to get. But I think he's being manipulated. But he's not stupid by far. You see that in the episodes. He's not dumb. He's just playing the game right now because he's got to. And so, yeah. Other than that, my opinions and thoughts on this season, besides the Negan and Pearly similarity with the "I've got your family, I've got your family," and I even put a little question on the methane deal. I mean, yeah, I get it. But as far as the "I've got your family, you got my family" deal, we could have just been okay with one character having that problem, not two of them. You could have come up with something more original for the other one. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's almost like filler. We'll just go ahead and give these two the same kind of situation. I don't know. That's the only part I don't like about it. As far as the methane, I think that was pretty. Yeah, I would have went with something a little bit more original. I'm not hating the series. Don't get me as a critic. You know, I'm a Walking Dead fan. I don't hate it. I just think that they could have did something more original. You know, something different that hasn't been used. If they, not saying that the methane scenario's been used. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think it could be better. It could have been better, story wise. But that's what they agreed on. That's what they're writing, and that's what they're showing us on TV for entertainment. But hey, I mean, if you like what I'm talking about when it comes to Walking Dead or anything like that, you know, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell when I talk about these series. You know, and try to give my all-time opinion and thoughts on what's going on as far as Walking Dead, or any content that I've got going on my channel, whether it be shorts or you know, live video gameplay, or some of the, you know, creative songs I do, you know, or anything, and just whatever, man. Whatever type of content that I'm putting out that you like and want to subscribe and check out or get notified on, you know what to do. Uh, but as far as that, well, we got to wait and see how things goes because it's not over with. But we know what has been going on as far as that. We're in New York. We're on the hunger for power. We're trying to take over New York, or who's going to be the one to take over? Who's going to control it? We just have to wait and see. Other than that, this is me, Jay, and I'm out. Uh, and I will catch you on the last part of season 2, Dead City, when it's complete. And we'll talk some more and see if we can't put the puzzle pieces together and see what truly happened and what was the true intention. But till then, I'll holler at you. See you on the next one.